My guest with me today is Tom West, wonderful man that I've come to know, and wanted to have the opportunity to share his experience with those of you that are receiving this video. Tom, why don't you tell us what your original diagnosis was, what the prognosis was at the time that you first were tackling this cancer?
Okay, yeah, well, my first was brain cancer, stage 4 brain cancer and lung cancer. So the prognosis was, well, we wouldn't let him go there. We just wouldn't let the doctor go there as much as he wanted to tell us a prognosis, whether it's 2 weeks or a year. Just said, no, don't go there. We've got the Lord on our side, and we're just not worried.
Wonderful, wonderful. What were some of your symptoms that you went through before treatment, and then from the treatment, what treatment did you take?
Before the treatment, the biggest thing I noticed was I was extremely tired all the time. I was constantly looking for something to give me energy, and I couldn't figure out what was going on and why I was so tired all the time. I was thinking, I'm just getting old and just worn out. I don't know. I couldn't figure out what it was, but, it just wasn't myself. And then Connie, my wife, started to recognize, say, yeah, you're not really acting like yourself. You're really not who I think you are. What's going on with you? So we got a hold of our doctor friends, and that's when he said, come on down. Let me get an MRI. Let's figure out what's going on. And they did.
Wow. Okay. So then what treatments did you take for the diagnosis? What did they send you into?
Well, the treatment I took was immediately went into radiation for the brain, because the doctor said what I want to do is kind of contain the cells, the brain, the tumor in your head. It was about a tangerine-sized tumor in my head and a tangerine-sized tumor in my lung. So I had a friend of mine that specialized in tumors, and he was the one that said, well, I need to go radiation and shrink up or contain the cancer before I do surgery. And then I had another really good friend of mine that was the head of neurosurgeon at Emory, which is well known. He's a great guy. So he was the one came and talked to me and said, I want to do a different procedure. So Connie and I were struggling with which is the right procedure to do. And I remember the first doctor kept saying, if you don't do radiation, you don't contain it, and for some reason when you go into surgery and it leaks, it'll show up 3 months later in a very painful death. And I was like, ooh, don't like that. So I guess that kept ringing my ears. And I think we were debating back and forth which way to go, because a good friend came on our porch and sat down and talked to us about it and said, I personally want to handle this for you. We were like, wow, we're so honored and so thankful, and scheduled a surgery with him. But then it's like 7:30 at night, Connie and I were on our bed, we were praying which way to go. Didn't know. And so within 5 seconds of saying amen, Jim Robertson called me, that was the guy with the original approach to it that said do the radiation. So he said, okay, that was obviously a sign. And so that's the way we went. Turned out to be the right way at the time, I guess.
Okay. And you did how many radiation? 5, you said 5 radiation treatments?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you had surgery to remove the tumor.
Correct.
In your head, but it was still, you still had one in your lung. Did they do any surgery on that?
No, they didn't. We just did, I was constantly doing CT scans, MRIs, PET scans, and I went into immune therapy. So I was doing immune therapy about every 2 weeks, or tried to anyway. The first time they gave me the immune therapy with the 2 drugs in it, this was with Northside in Atlanta. And that didn't go well at all. I immediately went to the hospital, and there was a lot of complications from that. So the oncologist says, okay, well, let's just drop back and punt. We'll just do one of the medical drugs going forward. So we did, but I would do like 2 weeks increments, and then after about 3 treatments, I would end up in the hospital. Or after about 3 treatments, I was on steroids, 100 milligrams of steroids daily.
Wow.
Trying to get my body back to where they could handle the treatments.
So you were feeling pretty poorly at that point.
Oh yeah, I felt like I had the flu every day, and on top of the flu, you felt like you were nauseous.
Yeah.
So it was miserable. So we did that for a good while, and then I was in the hospital off and on enough that I would sometimes skip like a month before I could get back onto it. And I finally got back into it, and I kept asking my doctor, so what's the plan and where do we go from here? And he kept saying, well, we're going to do 2 years of treatments. And I would say, well, why 2 years? He goes, well, I don't have any other, any more information to back up something else. Oh no. My phone, so back. Sorry about that. Technology.
Okay.
So he just kept saying we did 2 more years. So after we did the first year, he kept saying, well, what do you want to do? And I go, well, I don't know what I want to do. What do you suggest I do? I don't know. I'm relying on my oncologist to tell me to give me direction. And he was kind of like, well, I know you want to quit the treatments. I go, well, yeah, I do, but I want to do what's right, and I want to get rid of cancer. So we kept going down that path. And as a matter of fact, during Connie's 60th birthday, I took a month off of doing treatments. He said, well, for the most part, if you take a month off, you're not going to notice any difference. That's not enough time to get those drugs out of your body to really feel better. And I was like, oh well. So we did anyway. We took a month off, and then the next thing another, I started getting reservations about it, and second guessing it. The Lord sent me around about different ways to you. And that's where you kind of opened my eyes and kind of showed me what was the right way and what was God's way. And never looked back. It's the best decision I've ever made. And just very thankful to have you in my life.
Well, tell me how you're feeling. How long have we been doing calls together? We've been coaching for what, about 3 months?
About right, yeah.
Okay.
It's June, in the middle of June, somewhere in there.
Okay, and you haven't been. So that's been more like 5 months. Okay.
Wow, yeah, or July, yeah, somewhere, yeah, anywhere.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so you haven't been doing any medical treatment for that period of time?
No, matter of fact, after talking to you, I got rid of my blood pressure medicine, my cholesterol medicine, any medicine I was taking, and I was doing a lot. I was on 2 different blood pressure medicines. Quit doing both of them, quit doing the cholesterol, just quit all the way.
Okay, haven't been going back to the doctor?
No, I went back for about 3 weeks, just for blood work. That was it.
Okay, okay.
Came back perfect.
Okay, tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being best, when you were doing the immunotherapy, how were you feeling overall?
Oh, terrible. Probably like a 3.
Okay. Okay.
I think I remember at one time telling you that, the Lord never gives you more than you can handle. And I was saying, oh, obviously he's giving me way too much credit. So it was just like, you were just miserable. It was just like, I don't know that I could take much more of this.
Oh, wow. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling now 5 months later after doing no more treatments and doing the natural protocol and the spiritual protocol?
Yeah, that's important. Great. Just feeling great. I was out cutting the grass today, and I was just talking to my wife, Connie, who was saying a year or 2 ago that we got to hire people to cut the grass because I have a pretty big lawn. And I was like, no, I'm going to get back. I'm going to be able to do it, and I want the exercise. So today I was able to go back and say, see, I told you I would be back and be able to do this.
Wonderful. That's so wonderful. Tell me, Tommy, what would you say is the top 1 or 2 things that you have gained from coaching that has made the difference for you, the biggest difference? I mean, all of it together makes a difference. You really have to take everything together, body, soul, spirit. But what are the top 1 or 2 things that come to your mind as the real keys for you?
Well, I think the biggest key for me was, and you kind of educated me this way. I was a strong believer, and always been so many prayers answered by the Lord. I just knew that He had a plan for me, and all along I felt like the cancer was a reason for this cancer, and it has done what I think it was meant to do. And so I'd given it all over to the Lord. I just handed it to Him. I wasn't worried. I wasn't stressed out about it. I wasn't down, but the part that I wasn't doing, that you made very clear to me, was that I have to do my part. And so that's kind of been the biggest factor to me is, okay, there is the mind, body, and spirit, but you've got to participate in this too. Okay,
wonderful. Yeah, great. So self-awareness of your partnership. It is a partnership. So you became a partner with God and going in the same direction you were believing Him to take you by doing
Correct.
You can do in the natural realm to get in agreement with his design of your body and the methods that he's trained you spiritually and in the soulish realm according to his word, to
Right.
the things he wants you to do. Okay, awesome. So any symptoms now that are negative? Any medical symptoms at this point at all?
None whatsoever. You know, the normal backache or headache, but other than that,
Nothing cancer related.
Nothing cancer related. No.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you're looking very healthy.
Thank you.
Your skin looks great. You look healthy, so that's awesome.
Good, thank you. Orange glow.
There you go. Hold up your hands. Let me see if they look orange. Kind of, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, they're really orange. Matter of fact, they got so orange. Kind of says, "Ask Paula, are you supposed to be this orange?"
Yes, you're supposed to be orange.
Yeah, it's definitely orange.
The palms of your hands and the bottom of your feet will turn orange, and that's good. You have that means you're juicing enough, so that's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing this story, your testimony about your journey with those that are going to be inspired by it. And you're such a great representation of what God had in mind for our healing.
Right.
Not a zap that comes from nowhere usually. That happens on occasion, but not usually. But that doesn't mean that we all can't get well doing this his way by getting in agreement with his design. So this is an awesome testimony. I appreciate you sharing it today.
Oh, thank you. I'm just so blessed. All the glory goes to him, for sure.
For sure.